Good afternoon. I've been meaning to talk about this for a while, and I just haven't. I want to talk about the North Miami shooting you had. I think it was back in 2016. This Charles Alleda cop, he's the member of the SWAT team and all this stuff. And his brother, I'm sorry, it was Jonathan Alleda. They shot him. He shot Charles Kinsey in the leg. Evidently, they were searching for a suicidal man, police. And Charles was a caretaker for these mentally ill children, mentally ill people. They were like mental retardation. So the dude goes out in the street with a little toy truck. I guess they thought it looked like a firearm. Cops show up, get behind cover, trying to talk to him. Charles gets on the ground with him, puts his hands up. In fact, there's a picture I just saw on Wikipedia of it, where he's got his hands like up like this, laying on the ground, and he's telling them, man, just do what they say, do what they say, do what they say. And the other cops, I guess they realize what's going on. They get up, they start walking over there. Jonathan Alleda, member of SWAT team, he fires his rifle from 50 yards away. From 50 feet away, he fires the rifle, shoots 3 times, and hits Charles in the leg. Now, you guys know me. I often say this, and I hate to do this, but I often say this, that thank God he didn't kill him. Thank God Charles lived to tell the tale. How many stories do we hear about where cops shoot kids in the bag? These kids are playing with, I think, what's them, BB guns or whatever, and the cop goes on the radio and tells her, he says, I think these people are just playing with toys. And he goes up to the fence, looking through the fence, he hollers, police, drop the thing. I don't think it was 1.6 seconds. He opens fire on those kids. This is policing in America. I forgot where this is at. There's another case where police, cop chased this guy, and dude didn't have a gun or nothing. I think I don't think he waited 3 seconds. Open fire, hit this kid. So we're dealing with race soldiers. Period. Now, Jonathan Alleda was not Caucasian. He was Hispanic. I'm not sure exactly what ethnicity, but we'll just say Hispanic, Latino, whatever. He was convicted evidently of a misdemeanor. He will not face time probably for this. And he'll probably keep his job. This cop, I say to you guys, I said it before about Trump, that are you really mad at Trump and the stupid things he says and the racist bullshit he says? Or are you mad that America is such a bastion of hatred that a man like Trump would be able to get in power? Which one are you mad about? Because to me, Trump shouldn't have been president at all. In a legitimate society, it's like when they were talking about Mattis. Mattis, when he was in Iraq, he was a general, Marine general. He killed 40 people at a wedding. Had nothing to do with anything. And he said, I debated about 20 seconds behind it. Now, in a legitimate society, which America is not, Mattis would have had to stand trial for his actions. There would have been some consequences. That ain't what happened. What happened? He was invited to the RNC and the DNC. I believe they were actually looking at him to be like a third party guy to run against Trump. He didn't face any consequences for those murders. So we're not really living in a legitimate state in America anymore. Like I already made the comments about children getting killed for playing with toys. We all know about the story where the kid walked out the store with a doll. The cops chased him outside, pointing guns up in the car, talking about, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'll shoot you, slamming the guy on the ground, and all this. These were just people who hadn't committed any violent crime, but they could have lost their lives. See, anytime you bring a gun out, that's how I was taught. it's a chance to get the gun from you. And then you have to shoot him. We fighting over the gun, I'm going to have to kill you. We're not playing no more. If I'm fighting over a gun, I'm going to kill you. Period. There won't be any talking. So you don't pull that gun out until you're ready to use it or you believe that that level of force is necessary. Somebody who stole a doll is not of that level. Period. So this cop might keep his job for shooting a man laying on the ground with his hands up. No, it wasn't manslaughter. It wasn't attempted manslaughter. And they said something. They said that his actions were calculated. So does that make it attempted murder? I'm tired of this bullcrap about cops having a tough job. Because when I see stuff like this, I don't think to myself they got a tough job. I think to myself, we got a bunch of soldiers running around out there. We got a bunch of race soldiers running around out there. How you can even think to shoot at a man laying on the ground with his hands up, that shows a manifest lack of discretion and a lack of judgment. And I've owned guns. I've had people cuss me out when I was carrying guns and all. And I just laugh. I'm the nicest guy in the world when I got a gun on. I'm the nicest guy in the world. You never know it. I laugh with you. I kid with you. I'm way nicer than I am. I'm the nicest guy in the world when I got a gun on me. You know, it gets me when I deal with people who have guns but are nasty because it makes me think, okay, so you need that gun. I know I have that level of force. And that me knowing it means I've already got you. I don't got to be nasty with you. I don't have to get loud or nothing. Because I know it. You know? These Caucasians have to open carry guns and get nasty and all that. It really showed me that the Caucasian, a lot of them are cowards. Not all. A lot of them are really cowards. You know? The fact that they have to advertise they're carrying a gun, pulling up his shirt and doing little things like to brandish their gun. It really, to me, that's a coward move, man. That's a coward. Period. If that was my father or someone I knew, I don't know what I would do. Here you have a cop that shot somebody who literally wasn't doing anything at all, who was literally doing their job. And the other cops, they're not even backing him. They're like, yo, I don't know why he fired. They were walking up when he fired. They thought someone was shooting at them, so they went for their guns again, not knowing that one of them crack-ass hillbilly cops, dumbass, racist-ass cops, was shooting at the man on the ground. That's how surprised they were. See, I always look at that. With these police shootings, I always look at how the other cops respond. Like, remember that cop, Jordan Edwards, down in, it was Texas, start with a B, something Springs, Texas, not far from Dallas. And it was a house party. Black kids were leaving. And one of the cops, I guess they had all shoot up to the car. One of the cops was talking to the boys. Wasn't going for his gun. Didn't have his gun unstrapped. Didn't go for it, nothing. Just talking to him like I'm talking to you now. The other dude goes, gets his rifle, shoots up in the car, kills Jordan, and does this. He's convicted of that. That was before you had this one in Dallas, the Amber Geiger case. And I always refer to I want to be clear, I always refer to the officer because the officer's on trial. I used to say, oh, Trayvon Martin case. No. They're not on trial. They're dead. They're gone, man. That's done. You're not going to, you know what I mean? White supremacy, they use that as to say, hey, it's about the black guy. No, it's not. You pulled the trigger. You escalated it. Your actions led to the death of another. Your actions are not only under investigation, but under indictment. just want to be very clear with that. I want everybody to know why I do that. I always refer to the officer's name. Always. Be clear of that. Not because I forget the person's name or none of that stuff. Clearly I don't. But because that's a white supremacist tactic. Because they want to move the discussion away from the officer and make it about the black person that was killed. You see? That's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's kind of like saying if he just didn't sag his pants or if he didn't run from the cops. None of those things give you the right to shoot. Or he didn't move fast enough. None of that gives you the right to shoot. And it's crazy when they say that because in my mind I'm like, if you had said he moved real fast and you felt threatened, that'd be one thing. But the fact that you're saying he didn't move fast enough, that tells me that's something in your mind going on. You got something, PTSD, whatever going on in your mind to where you just think, I can just kill anybody who doesn't do what I say. And that's on you. That ain't self-defense, baby. That ain't self-defense whatsoever. That's on you. That's that cowboy mentality. Shoot first, ask questions later. You know what I'm talking about. This case bothers me. In some cases, they just bother me because it sets a precedent that he did. It's what he did. It's almost like shooting up into a house and nobody gets hit. It's still a crime. You go out here, you shoot up some occupied dwelling, fire in the occupied dwelling. That's still a charge, man. They're not gonna be like, well, he didn't kill anybody. Well, he just nicked him. It doesn't matter, man. Think about how terrifying it must be to get shot like that. And something I think about often, that black man asked him, why did you shoot me? And the cop said, I don't know. And he went up to court and said the same thing. He didn't know. See, that stuff right there, he don't need to be a cop no more. He don't need to be on no SWAT team, no cop. He shouldn't be able to carry a gun, period. Because if you're telling me you can use deadly force on somebody and you can't even articulate it, that's a problem, man. That's a real problem. That's kind of like when they arrest you, you're supposed to say why you've been arrested, your charges. If you're making an arrest and you can't articulate the PC enough, that's a problem. We know what black people don't do it because really cops don't serve black people. They don't. And a lot of them don't even make a show. The cops don't serve black people. Cops serve capital. And cops serve white supremacy. And cops serve the status quo. Period. That's what they serve and that's what they represent. Many of them. Don't forget that. They don't serve us. They don't even make any bones about giving you your civil rights or no, man. Give me that shit. No. You ain't nothing to me. That's why you got Cedar Post. Look at Cedar Post if you don't believe me. That's how they think about you. Everything's your fault. We talk a lot about how black people are like 400 years behind. I listened to this lady that wrote this book called White Rage, the roots of it, and basically laying out that the stuff going on with Trump and them calling the police on black people, it didn't just happen. She puts all the way back to the Ferguson thing, the shooting of Michael Brown. And she was talking about how when you had the Brown decision, you had schools in, was it Alabama or the Prince Edward County or something, what was it? How what they did was, at one point, they just closed their schools down for like 5 years. Rather than follow Brown versus education, rather than, put forward, equal schooling, we just close it all down and send our schools to all white academies. See, when you see things like this, that's why I tell you, I don't even go back to slavery. I don't. I see no need. You pick up these books, you read these books. It's actions they've done that's put black people. It isn't just us. It's actions where we didn't have opportunities. That's why when I see black people rioting and acting a fool and everything, white folks are like, well, slavery's over with. Yeah, but you can't do that. You know, they talk about education is important. Yeah, but look at what your ancestors done to interfere with schooling. So some of that's old. No, it ain't that simple to just say, well, we're not killing niggers anymore. We're not hanging niggers anymore. We got some black people. We're not hanging niggers. You know, that's not enough, man. That's not enough. That's not enough. It's not enough. Some areas, yes, but you talk about the deep south and areas, nah, man. Nah, I can't look at it that way no more. And like I told you about my trainer, you know, Kenneth, the way he thinks that people getting beat up by the cops, they're doing things that are doing bad things, nah, man. And even if they do, that doesn't give you the right to stomp on their heads. No, man. No. See, you know what I realized talking with Ken? He's an older dude, much older dude than me. One thing I learned about him is to think the way he does, that's a psychology. It's psychology. That's a I don't care. He doesn't say it like he would never say. I'm sure if I had him in there, he would never say that. I don't care about black people. I don't care about brown people. No, but it's a well, they deserve it. You know what I mean? It's something like that to try to legitimize police brutality. No, and that's kind of like saying people get raped in prison. Well, if you don't get raped, don't do the crime, won't do the time. No, man. It's just detention. You ain't got no right to do all that. See, you know what thing about conservatives is conservatives talk about a slippery slope. That if they legitimize gay marriage, then that's going to somehow legitimize pedophilia, bestiality, zoophilia, people sleeping with animals. It makes no sense. You've had countries that have had gay marriage being legal since the early 2000s, and you don't have any of those things going on. You have countries that have had gay marriage legal since the 90s. You haven't heard any of that kind of stuff. You've had people that almost gay marriage legal longer than I've been alive. So that's bullshit. Or if we legalize marijuana, we gotta legalize cocaine. That's bullshit, man. That's just nonsense. That's total and complete nonsense. And they can say that, but then when it comes to police violence or when it comes to government corruption, they don't do that. That if the police can get away from beating and shooting niggas on the hood, what can now eventually they'll start jumping on regular black people. Now we're seeing that. See, that's my thing with conservative. If you're gonna be a conservative, beat it all the time. If you believe in that moral relativism is a slippery slope or whatever, then beat it all the time. If you believe in states' rights and a state puts on the ballot legalize marijuana, then respect that. Don't say, well, states' rights for guns and all that, but I'm not gonna let you smoke weed. That's bullshit, man. And that's hypocrisy. Ain't that really hypocrisy though? Because what it's showing you is states' rights was always just a white man's term. You know, it was always to do with white issues. It was never a live and let live thing. States' rights, private property. Yes, they have a definition. I know private property could be your house. I get it. But those are white people's terms to signify exclusion to black people, to non-binary people, to LGBT people. That's what those terms were about, exclusion, keeping them out. It was never about creating a better society for all people, creating a framework of law, a framework of democracy. It was never about any of those things. It was about white men staying in power and staying in the center and staying in control and using these words that sound legitimate and sound good, but have nothing to do with you and don't benefit you in any way. Does that make sense? I think when I make these videos about, whether it be the brother that died in Dallas, the Emmett Geiger shooting, Brother Botham, getting murdered, or whether it be about the shooting in Michael Slaughter in North Charleston, South Carolina, or whether, when I do these videos, I'm beginning to believe that's my moral cord. That's my moral core speaking out on stuff I feel is wrong. And I'm beginning to listen to my morals, listen to my instincts, listen to what I know is wrong. Not that I want to do anything that's wrong. Not that I'm out here wanting to hurt people, but it's just that it's like Dr. King put it. Now I want to start saying it correctly. That Dr. King said that, the day we die is the day that we stop caring about the things that matter. And that's true. You can't just turn your head away from injustice. He said, Dr. King said, a threat to justice anywhere, injustice anywhere, is a threat to justice everywhere. That's right. I agree with that. I've told you guys, I believe Dr. King believed that nonviolence was the only moral standpoint, probably the only practical standpoint he had, period, as far as getting the amount of people he did. I'm not talking about Malcolm X and radical Muslims. I'm not talking about that. That's a fringe group. There's a lot of them, but that's more fringe. There's a lot of people who are not Muslim. A lot of white folks back then didn't cater to that. I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about as far as bringing white folks together, people from the North together, bringing people's folks together. Dr. King was a socialist. That's what gets me about it when they talk about Dr. King. He was a socialist, very clearly. A lot of the people that we recognize as heroes today were socialists, very clearly, no doubt. But they don't want that to come out. They don't want to talk about that. No. Nope. But anyway, I just, to me, it's very sad. This cop's going to get away with it. This cop is going to wind up getting, like I got, 6 months probation and a fine. It'll be 6 months unsupervised probation. It'd be a fine. I will say this. He probably won't get very high in the police department. That's something I've learned. When cops do stuff like that, honestly, he might keep a job as a police officer, but people in the community are not going to go for that. They're not. And he may go back to patrol in the same area. He may stay on SWAT. But people like that don't get promoted. They don't really go too far in the department. They don't. That doesn't matter. It doesn't. I mean, this black man was traumatized. When you have wounds like that, your body doesn't really come back. And he's an older guy. Charles was an older guy. So when you get wounds like that, for me, it might not be as serious, but for people like him, probably not in good shape. Probably not in health or nothing, not his job. He might lift weights, but he ain't like that probably. He might be limping the rest of his life. He might get, what do you call that stuff? What you call that? You get old and your joints be hurting and shit. He might get that. There's going to be consequences behind this shooting. And for this cop to possibly keep his job, to keep his accreditation, it's disgusting. And even if the state of Florida does that, takes accreditation, which I doubt is going to happen. I doubt it. I wouldn't even bet on it. Even if that happens, this cop, clearly, he got away with it, man. Sometimes we got to acknowledge when we've been beat. That's something I've learned. We got to acknowledge when we've been beat. And this is a cop that got away with it. This is a cop that committed an extremely reckless act and almost killed somebody. And I find it interesting that cops don't talk about this. And they go on Cedar Post and stuff and all these forums to talk about, niggers and black people committing crimes and cop killers. They don't talk about this case. They don't talk about the cop up there in Minneapolis who shot that white woman. Like I told you, you ain't heard Justine Damon. You ain't heard FOP say anything about that. You ain't heard the state of Minnesota FOP talk about. You ain't heard the national FOP. You ain't heard nobody on Fox News talking about, oh, we need to have him held over on bail. And you ain't heard none of that. You ain't heard none of that. And you're not going to. And one thing that got me, dude I talked to says affirmative action. One thing that got me was almost immediately the police chief resigned. The mayor was, I think she lost her re-election. Now they got things on their guns, a little light and a laser on their guns. They got that. Almost like, it's amazing to see how the department, how the city spun on a dime to deal with this unfortunate shooting. I find that very intriguing. Not because I care about that lady, because I don't give a fuck about that lady. Okay, maybe I'm wrong I don't care about that lady or that cop, period. Or their family. I don't care anything about that. That's not what this is about. This is simply about recognizing the difference when a white woman, a blue-eyed, blonde-haired white woman is murdered in her pajamas for calling the police. And black folks get beat up and shot in their own homes because they don't want to cooperate with the police on something they don't have to cooperate with. Because the cop, it was one I seen where the man was holding a baby and the cop was like, calling the N-word and I'm getting tired of this and all this. I find it very intriguing to see the difference of how we're treated, how they deal with us. That's something I find very intriguing. Let's make a college class about that. Peace, y'all.